Hello, everyone. Welcome to MindBody TV. I'm Dr. Kim Duramo, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the basis for this pandemic of chronic illness. Why so many people are sick, and so many of us have these symptoms and fatigue and just accelerated aging, low energy, or weird, obscure medical diagnoses that we don't really understand. Why do I have this? And how this actually is linked to the myth of separation, the idea that we are separate from source, we are separate from each other, even the idea that my body parts are separate from my other body parts. As a physician, when I learned medicine, we just learned over here's your liver, over here's your kidneys, over here's your heart. Everything is separate. But the truth is, everything is interconnected. Our body is constantly communicating with every other part of our body instantaneously. It is a seamless, cohesive connection of seemingly separate parts. But the bigger truth here is that even our bodies, meaning my body, your body, we are actually not separate. These seemingly separate physical entities are actually deeply and intimately connected. And what science has shown on a quantum level is that everything is energy, everything is vibrating, everything is at a particular frequency. What we see, what we hear, what we think is all about the vibrational frequency we reside at, even the thoughts that come into our awareness. And this actually plays a huge role in our health, because when we see others to be feared, others are a threat, I've got to put up boundaries, I've got to make sure to, hold myself together and make sure I get what I need or whatever. It actually stimulates our nervous system to go into an overload of fight or flight, the sympathetic nervous system, which gears up our stress hormones, cortisol, our adrenaline, gets us into high gear. So we're always in this overdrive state, which actually physically destroys our health. The bigger truth here, not just that we're not separate from each other, is that we're not separate from source. So one of the biggest myths that creates so much illness and disease, getting our body into fight or flight overdrive, constantly thinking, getting in our heads and being in this protective chemistry that actually deteriorates our body and creates every major disease known to man, is this understanding I'm threatened. I'm not safe, I'm not resourced. And so we live in this state where instead of all is well, I'm resourced, I'm connected, that allows the body to function fluidly and receive the nurturance from our food, the resources from our environment, the connection and meaning with other people. We live in separation. We live in lack and we live in fear. And what I want to share in today's episode of Mind Body Medicine is how to step out of that consciousness, because it's not an absolute truth. You'll experience it as if it's true, but it's a consciousness. When you shift your consciousness, you shift your reality. And so how to step out of that consciousness of separation, fear, lack, into the consciousness of interconnection and oneness as a way to allow the body to heal. So are you with me? Does this sound interesting? Am I speaking your language? Are you interested in this? And what comes up when you are approached with that? Does it make any sense at all? Does it just sound like weird mumbo jumbo? Take a deep breath, soften your body, because we're going to dive in. So I'd love you to connect and let me know where you're listening in from in the world. Just type it right here into the comments and let me know where you are listening from and how you found this broadcast. Have you been in our community for a while? Are you new? What have you thought about this content? Have you had effects? Have you been shifting your consciousness as a way to shift your health? And what have you found as a result? So thank you for sharing your comment and for being here. The first thing I want to say about this myth of separation is when we're not even in a state of chronic illness, right? Let's just say you don't really even have symptoms, you don't even have a disease. Most people are still living in a degree of stress and a degree of anxiety that is directly related to this myth of separation and the lack and fear that results from it. So when I first started studying mind body medicine decades and decades ago in my life, I was very young. I learned about psychoneuroimmunology, how your beliefs And your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts have a direct and immediate impact on your immune system, on your brain functioning. And actually, it was later found your entire endocrine system and every part of your body. And now there's way more to this in the study of epigenetics, where we learn your beliefs and your emotions also affect your gene expression. It's massive. So your entire system is expressing itself either in health, fluid harmony, self-regeneration, becoming more and more robust and strong as you go forward through life, or dis-ease, which is either like a known medical diagnosis or symptoms, or just like, oh, I guess I'm just aging, that's what happens after you turn blah, blah, blah years old. And you just kind of get into that collective consciousness where you just believe that's how you're supposed to live. And so you don't need to be on that trajectory. You can shift your consciousness to have major, major shifts in your body. In fact, we're having a live event coming up very soon where we're going to do the shifts in the room with you. You will feel this cellularly. It will change your life forever going forward. We will have one-on-ones in the heel seat with some of you who are in the room for this live event. Everyone is invited. And we also have a live stream option. So if you would like to join virtually, I would love to have you at this event. You will feel this in your body. So if this sounds interesting, but you're like, how do I apply this? We're going to do this in the live event in Scottsdale. So I'll share the link here so that you can join us. Okay, so your cells are listening and your nervous system is either plugged into the matrix of fear, right? I'm separate from source. So therefore, I've got to fend for myself. I've got to get it right. I got to freaking figure this out, which creates underlying tension, stress hormones, inflammation, and keeps the body overrun where you're not actually letting solutions, nurturants, resources, even like food in. So you're shutting down health. The other thing with that, though, is you're living on like a constant treadmill. So it changes the way your brain sees reality. So even if the opportunities are right in front of you, the abundance is there, the love, the prosperity, the money, your body, your brain will not let it in because you don't see what you don't believe. So you'll either get approached with it and you're like, it's probably too good to be true and go the other way, or you won't even hear it. You won't even notice it. Like there are people that find my work and they just click off immediately because they're like, is she even speaking English? What you hear, what you perceive has everything to do with your own belief system, your own consciousness. And so you won't even live your life aligned with, I'm abundant, I'm resourced, I allow prosperity to come in easily, unless you choose to let it in. So a lot of this is unconscious. You got to shift that. You got to shift your beliefs. The other thing that happens as a result of this, though, is you don't know the answers. So a lot of people will see me as a physician and say, I tried this and I tried this and I tried that, and I just don't know what to do, right? Their brain is blocking new information. When we're in fight or flight, we do not let in new information. So it's either like, yeah, I'm skeptical, I don't believe this, or yeah, I already tried that, it doesn't work for me, right? Your brain will actually determine what you do and how you see the world. You can't heal if you can't let in new information. You can't heal if you can't turn off that overdrive. And if you continue to stay in the consciousness of fear, lack, and separation, it is impossible for your system to equilibrate, to rebalance itself to harmony, abundance, and health. So you literally won't see the solutions, even if they're right there. But the fascinating thing that happens, and I've seen this again and again when I've done, group sessions or one-on-one with a person, is when you shift your consciousness, when we shift even some of 2 or 3 of your foundational beliefs, all of a sudden magic happens. You meet the right person at the right time. You meet your soulmate. You meet the right healer who has this obscure way of doing things that you're like, this was a needle in a haystack. How did I find that? You found it because you shifted from separation and fear and lack into abundance, oneness, connection. So are you willing to do that? Share in the comments. Yes, if it's a yes, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to shift, even though I might not understand it, even though I don't know how, that's fine. Are you willing to shift from fear, separation, and lack and begin to get curious about the possibility of, I am already resourced? Even though I don't think so, even though I don't believe it, even though I don't feel like it, even though the evidence shows I'm not, are you willing to consider otherwise? That is the first step. That is the most important question you've got to ask yourself. Am I willing to consider something other than what I perceive to be true? Am I willing to consider something new beyond what I have experienced to be true? I'm not taking away your experience. I'm not saying you haven't been hurt, you haven't been sick, you haven't been just up the creek without a paddle and there's really no solutions and everyone's let me down and there's nothing I could possibly do. Great, let's validate that experience all day long. And are you willing to have a new experience? Are you willing to shake that one off and allow something new to come in, even though you may have not experienced it that way before? So give me a yes in the comments if that's a yes for you, because it is possible. And we're going to do some integration of this right now. The second thing I wanted to talk about, so we got this, like your nervous system is listening to your consciousness. Are you in fear, separation, lack? Are you willing to get curious about maybe I am connected? And the second thing is the source is within you. So when we're in separation, my source is outside me. I got to get the right medicine. I got to find the right person. Maybe I'll read another book, right? And then it's like, there's so much misinformation. I'm just so confused. Well, that's what happens when you believe the source is outside you. It's a never-ending hamster wheel, a never-ending search for more. And even if you do find the thing, it's going to wear off. It's going to run out. It's going to stop working, right? Because life is on your side to begin to realize the source is in you. Okay, so just take a few deep breaths, connect with your heart. You can tap on your heart like I'm doing. You can just place your hands over your heart. And I want you to close your eyes. If you're driving, pull over. And I want you to just begin to feel what's happening in your body. This could be a life-changing experience for you. So just trust me, soften your shoulders, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what if what's happening in me now is the magic? What if? So maybe you feel pain. Maybe you feel a flow of breath. Maybe you feel a tightness in your breath. Notice it, notice it, notice it. What if what I'm sensing right now is exactly where to begin to let things open? Just breathe in and breathe out, close your eyes. What if what I am experiencing right now is the doorway to massive change and healing? So soften your shoulders and breathing. What if everything I'm seeking is here now in me? Okay, you're not answering the question. You're just asking the question. I'm going to say that one again. What if everything I'm seeking is right here, right now in me? Okay, now I want you to erase the chalkboard of the outer. Blow away the chalk dust. That is the myth of separation. Sure does appear to be true. Blow away the chalk dust. Let that go. Connect within yourself. What if everything I'm seeking is here now in me? Now I want you to soften your body and begin to let it in. How do you do that? So first, just physically soften. Notice your breath. And then allow that breath to expand through you and out beyond you. What if everything I'm seeking is right here, right now, in me? What if I am connected to all I see? What if I am not separate, I am not threatened, and I am not lacking? So all you're going to do is tune into what you feel and sense when you ask that question. That's all you're going to do. What if what I'm seeking is right here in me? What if I am connected with all that is? Sure does appear to be separate, but what if it's actually all connected? What if I am what I'm seeking? Now, you're not going to answer the question. You're just going to feel. What do you feel when we say this? What do you feel when you ask and tune in? One more time, stay right here, breathing. What if I could awaken right now, even just 2% to this truth that I am infinitely sourced, that I am provided for right here, right now, and always? Take a last breath. What would it be like? Just asking, because your system can't not answer. When you ask a question, it's going to answer. Go ahead and open your eyes. How did that feel? Please type in the comments. Did you do it? Give me a, I did it. And what did you feel? What did you notice? Because it's all about awareness. You are not going to heal yourself, but you can allow the conditions so that healing happens. That's what happened for me many, many years back. I was up the creek. I was in so much trouble. My life was not going to work. Everything was falling apart. It was a disaster with this crazy autoimmune disease, chronic pain, severe fatigue. I might as well have just died because everything I wanted in life seemed to be slipping away. But when I finally had this wake-up call and I connected, something awakened in me. And I had studied mind body medicine for years. So I was trying to heal myself, If I could just change my mind. No. We can only receive the healing. You're never going to heal yourself. You can only allow the conditions so that the healing comes in. And for me, softening my body, connecting and listening without agenda, without resistance. What I had been asking before was, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Come on. But that was not the state that allowed healing to happen. And that, in fact, that was the exact inflammatory state that created the autoimmune disease to begin with. That's why I kept getting worse and worse and worse and more diagnoses. When I was finally willing to listen and receive, this is another major thing we'll do at the live event in April. How do you become such a great receiver for everything you are asking for? And on day 2, that's really where we're going to focus. How do I become the receiver, the receptacle, the container of everything my heart desires? Am I willing to do that? And so when I finally listened, okay, body, what do you have for me? I know there's some truth here. I know this is happening for me, not to me. What am I, as the creator of my reality, trying to get myself to see? And it was like an instantaneous download of awareness. Stop fighting your life. Stop fighting this fight against this presumed failure, right? Stop fearing failure and just let your life in. You already are what you're seeking. There's no fight needed. You don't need to fight to succeed. You don't need to strive and overcome and push. You already are what you're seeking. You're going to follow the trajectory. Yes, you're going to do the work. Yes, you're going to, I completed medical school. I did my residency. I've created an amazing business. That was not, though, through the one who's, pushing the boulder up the hill. In fact, the more I've let go, the more prosperity has come. And that's why my body healed literally within days, is because I finally let go. So when we go, you got to actually be connected with your body first. Otherwise, it's just a mental exercise. When we go into the depth of our being, we feel our own pain, we welcome it, and we allow a surrender. It allows the old programming to stop. The fear, separation, lack programming, right? You're not separate. I know it sure does seems like you're awfully physical and that your physical body is completely separate from my physical body. But guess what? It is an illusion. And if you're willing to just get curious and consider, what? How could I possibly see this differently? And just consider, would I be willing to see this differently? There's an opening that happens. That's when the healing comes in. That's when the shift from I'm separate, I got to fend for myself, I'm not okay, I'm lacking, fear embodiment shifts to the peace embodiment. I am what I'm seeking. I am resourced. All is well. Life is happening for me. So, guys, are you willing to let that in, even 2%? Even if it doesn't make sense mentally, even if it doesn't feel like it emotionally, even if it sure doesn't seem like it physically, are you willing to begin to let that in? So give me a heck yes if that is true. So I want you to just begin asking yourself as you play with this week, what if I am not actually separate, but am sourced? That's it. You're just going to ask the question. That's all you're going to do all week is ask the question, right? But do it with a soft body. Do it with the receptivity that I mentioned allowed a massive healing to happen for me. And still, my life, we're always in an expansion. There's healing that happens every day. So just be willing to be a great receiver. What if I am not separate, but sourced? Play with that. Get back to me. Let me know in the comments how this goes. Come back to this video after you play with this for bonus points to let me know what you experienced. I will be here every week at 11 a.m. We will be broadcasting a new episode of MindBody TV at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Wednesdays on Dr. Kim Duramo in YouTube, in the MindBody community in Facebook. We have a new membership site that is coming up, so stay tuned for that. And I am so excited to see you at the event live in Scottsdale or live stream. I will be myself personally on the live stream with you as well to do more of this work together. I love you guys. So grateful that you're here, and I'll see you